It is Tuesday, and on Tuesdays, I have an album tour. On the album tour, I listen to albums that, I've never heard before. And in this case, the votes are in. We held an election, and a ridiculous amount of YouTuberooskies said that I needed to react to the album Trout Mask Replica on this, our Lord's Day of September 9th, 2025. Now, that said, we are going to listen to Trout Mask Replica on this our day's, you get what I'm saying. We're going to listen to Trout Mask Replica. A lot of people have told me that this album is a ridiculously challenging listen. People have said in the comments, like, we're trying, the community is trying to break Walt. I have no idea what that means. In my brain, I'm like, I've listened to The Residents. I have listened to some Primus. Like I've gone swimming in mustard. I can't imagine something is going to be that gnarly. But I'm told that, as you see, this is enough mustard to drown a fish. I got no clue. I literally have no idea what it is we're gonna walk into. I do have a chunk of context that we're going to go over. The black pepper between a mirror breaks my heart that I can't go. Okay. Captain Beefheart, Don Van Valet, I think. Vocals, horns, jingle bells. So we got some instrumentalists up here. And also, I was told that Zappa recorded this, and the reason that you cannot find this anywhere is because it's owned by the Zappa Trust, or managed by the Zappa Trust. And you can't find it on any streaming websites. I see what you did there, Zen Dude Ninja, or Vandalay. But anyways, you end up with a scenario where, to get this, I had to have a wonderful Rooski, shout out to the Skylight, by the way, get me an actual copy of this digitally. Which is something I think Frank Zappa would actually have not been cool with, but I also don't think that Zappa would have been cool with his catalog getting sold to UMG. This particular thing, not one of those. So this is what it is, guys. I guess according to Don himself, the name Captain Beefheart means he has a beef in his heart against the society. Oh, this society, cool. According to his high school classmate, Frank Zappa, the name came from Don's Uncle Alan, whose penis looked like a beef heart. In 1965, Don adopted the name and formed a strange blues rock band called the Magic Band. Zappa signed them to Straight Records in 1968, promising full creative freedom for what became Trout Mask Replica. For the album, Beefheart composed at the piano despite barely knowing how to play. According to Bill Hackelford, Beefheart had a concept of being away from tonality but using rhythm as the main input. Drummer John French transcribed and arranged the brutally difficult music for the band, though Beefheart had final say on what part should sound like. What a part should sound like. The Magic Band rehearsed for 8 months in a house on Encinita Drive. Forgive me. 8 months in a house on Encinita Drive, the infamous Trout House, under Beefheart's harsh and often psychologically abusive leadership. Oh my gosh. Though Zappa initially tried to record the album in the Trout House as an anthropological field recording, Beefheart pushed for professional studio. Some Trout House tapes were still used on the album. In the studio, the band cut 20 instrumentals in 6 hours. Frank couldn't hear the difference between the takes. They were rehearsed to death. Beefheart later overdubbed vocals and horns, but refused headphones, making the process rather chaotic. Trout Mask Replica is massively influential and has become a kind of meme among music nerds. Fred Frith, Frith of Henry Cow has a good quote. This is not free music. It is completely controlled all the time. Forces that usually emerge in improvisation are harnessed and made constant, repeatable. Beefheart. That's a pretty gnarly penis. That's a pretty gnarly looking penis, so maybe an uncircumcised fella, huh? Who knows? Anyways, yeah. I guess this is where we're at. So, wow, what an introduction. I guess this is why you guys are saying like this goes pretty hard, huh? Well, this is 79 minutes, released in 1969. Nice. And it's apparently avant-garde. Okay. Well, guys, lots of good lucks in here. I have to ask, have you heard this album before, or are you raw dogging this one with me? Guys, I'm going to hit the play button. Before I do, it is very important to me that you know that you are awesome, that you are valuable, that you are important, that you matter, that you are deserving of love, and that I am abundantly grateful for even a moment of your time. Bad hiding place, I see you there. I love you there. If you like what you see, feel free to hit the like and the subscribe button. It goes a long way to help me out. If you really like what you see, leave a comment. I would love to hear from you, or join us on Twitch or Kick. I stream every Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. Arizona time. I know I speak for all of us when I say we would love to have you by. Come discover music with us. Guys, it seems like a lot of yous are going to be hopping into this with me for the first time. Let me know, again, just one final show of first-timers or raw doggers for me. Just because, again, it's one of those things. I try to prove that we are a music discovery stream. It helps me interact and upload videos to YouTube by saying this is not just us, listening for the first, listening, and you get what I'm saying. Guys, without further ado, Trout Mask Replica by Captain Beefheart. Opening up with the song Frownland. Without further ado, here we go.
My smile is stuck. I cannot go back to your frown.
Can I get lyrics? Is there a lyrical thing here? Yeah, I also can't find like a now playing like I'd like to on this, which is kind of a bummer. Whoa, what happened? Oh, there it is. I would just like this screen to be the full screen, Thank you for them lyrics. Okay, here we go. Oh, lordy. Okay. Let us begin again, shall we? This is Frownland. 7/8 over 5/8.
Stuck. I cannot go back to your Frownland. My spirit's made up of the ocean and the sky and the sun and the moon and all I can see. I cannot go back to your land of gloom, where black jagged shadows remind me of the coming of your doom. I want my own land. Take my hand and come with me. It's not too late for you if it's not too late for me to find my whole land.
I don't even know. It's like when you're in a place where you can hear multiple songs at the same time and you're walking through them, but you don't hear any voices or ambient people existing noises. In the midst of it, it's just like you're getting raw dogged by two songs at the same time. But not by like multiple instruments, but it's like guys in the band are playing different songs. I think. I don't know.
To find my homeland.
The bass
Where
line.
man can stand by another man without an ego flying, with no man lying,
I think I accidentally went.
and no one dying by an earthly hand. Let the devil burn, and the beggar learn, and the little girls that live in those old worlds take my kind hand. My smile is stuck, I cannot go back to your Frownland. I cannot go back to your Frownland.
It's an unwittingly upbeat song. It's an unwittingly upbeat song. There's no doubt about it. That's not what I'm looking for. I just want the full friggin' screen. There we go. And anyways, I don't like the. It's kind of like my spirit's made up of the ocean and the sky and the sun and the moon and all my eyes can see. I cannot go back to your land of gloom. It's like this guy is being reawakened. Like lyrically, this is huge. Like this guy is being kind of awakened to this idea that negativity surrounds him, and he's like he doesn't want to go back to that. Like Frownland being like the I don't know how. Yeah, 60s utopianism for sure. Like, there's certainly an element of escapism to this, but like, this is what he wanted, huh? Like, he chose this.
And no one dying by an earthly hand. Let the devil burn, and the beggar learn, and the little girls that live in those old worlds
Sober guy.
take my kind hand. My smile is stuck, I cannot go back to your Frownland. I cannot go back to your Frownland.
Mm-hmm. What are you saying? Yeah. Yeah, for sure. First song in. This feels like the kind of thing that I'm gonna need to listen to again. Because I can get behind the lyrics. This is so mustardy. This is like The Residents in a very different kind of way. And like part of me is wondering, like, was it really that genius if he had no formal education on the piano and he was just doing stuff? But then there's another part of me where it's like, what if the rhythm really is the thing? Because like we've all been moved by rhythm before. I don't know. And this one is the dust blows forward and the dust blows back. Okay. Okay.
There's old Gray with her dove-wing hat. There's old Green with her sewing machine. Where's the bobbin at? She's toting old Grain in a printed sack. The dust blows forward and the dust blows back. And the wind blows black through the sky. And the smokestack blows up in the sun's eye.
Huh.
When am I gonna die? A white flake riverboat just blew by. Bubbles pop big. And a lipstick Kleenex hung on a pointed forked twig.
Can we get W's
Reminds
for
me
Garrett?
of the...
Can we just get huge W's for Garrett for what a beautiful friggin' move this thing was? Oh my golly gosh. Garrett, cartoonist, I love you, buddy. You've been around for years. Thank you. Man, that was helpful. This is just crazy. I don't know how I feel about it. I feel like it might. You know what the best date is? Majewel.
A flake riverboat just blew by. Bubbles pop big. And a lipstick Kleenex.
Like, what is that? It's like he
big.
In a lipstick.
And a lipstick Kleenex.
Like he kept the mistake in.
Hung on a point.
Like he's gonna be like a slave artist to people, but he keeps his own mistakes in.
Orchid twig. Reminds me of the Bobby girls. Never was my hobby girls. Handful of worms and a pole fishing. Cork bobbing like a hot red bulb. And a blue jay squeaks, his beak open an inch above a creek. Gone fishing for a week. Well, I put down my bush, and I took off my pants and felt free.
This is...
Breeze blowing up me, and up the canyon, far as I could see. It's night now, and the moon looks like a dandelion. It's black now, and the blackbirds...
He's got this kind of like... I don't know what I think of his voice, man. Like, it's definitely like a... It's an interesting thing. For sure. This is better. So these are the guys, huh? These are the guys. Huh. Yeah, I
Eating on rice, and his red wings look like diamonds and lice. I can hear the mice toes scampering,
Diamonds and lice?
gophers rumbling in piled crater rock holes. One red bean stuck in the bottom of a tin bowl. Hot coffee from a crimped up can. Me and my girl named Bimbo. Limbo. Spam.
His girl's named Bimbo Limbo Spam? Bimbo Limbo Spam? Little BLS. Him and his girl BLS? Dude. Going from the first song, that felt like it tremendously clashed to that one. There's a big level of shock. It's intentionally jarring. It's gotta be. There's no way it's not. Okay.
Dachau Blues, those poor Jews. Dachau Blues, those poor Jews. Dachau Blues, those poor Jews. Still crying about the burning back in World War II. One mad man, 60 million lose. Down in Dachau Blues, down in Dachau Blues. The world can't forget that misery, and the young ones now begging the old ones, please, to stop being madmen, for they have to tell their children about the burnings back in World War III.
I want something more to say. I feel like frequently are dunked on the reactors that hear songs and just kind of bob their heads. But I can't even bring myself to bob my head here. There's absolutely it's data, it's absurd for the sake of absurd. And I'm here for it, right? Like, you guys have been on some crazy musical journeys with me. But I don't know what to even make of any of this. And it's like, I almost feel like I'm gonna have to listen to it again. It, like, in my own time, just to see why. Like, to see if I have the I get it moment.
War was born in blood and snow. Walk to.
Okay, here's the other thing I do want to talk about. There is an incredible amount of stereo panning. There's an incredible amount of dynamics that are happening. They do have these random moments where things align. And they're very brief. Almost enough to where you're like, I did all this effort for that? But you still get that. You know?
Death and showers and skeletons dancing and screaming and dying in the ovens, carving smoke and dying by the dozens down in Dachau. Three little children with doves on their shoulders, their eyes roll back in ecstasy, crying, please, old man, stop this misery. They're counting out the devil with two fingers on their hands. Begging.
There is actually some genius happening here. There is a whole jazz song happening behind what's going on. Yes, Mel has the headphones on right now. She just has literally, she's like laughing at me, staring. Like she's got no, she's not here for anything other than emotional support from me.
I have something I was gonna send, but I don't know if it's too hard.
You say whatever you want to say, babe. I don't mind. This is one of the gnarliest listens I've ever. But it's, again, there really is actively genius to this. You just have to listen for it. But I want you to, I'm going to bring it back a little bit because I want us to revisit what's happening between the drum and what I imagine is a bass clarinet or a saxophone thing.
Down in Dachau.
The bass line also.
Three little children with doves on their shoulders, their eyes roll back in ecstasy.
This is what I'm talking about.
Please, old man, stop this misery. They're counting out the devil with two fingers on their hands, begging the Lord, don't let the third one land on World War III. On World War III.
And it attracted a lot of
This is tough, man.
rats. And they closed the doors, and they all get shotguns and run shotgun rats. And nothing happened. They couldn't get the rats to move, see? So they got one fella down there, he said, he stammered, and he got excited, he couldn't talk at all, see? They got him down there, and Wall said, I'll get him out of there. And he took the sticks and beat them, started getting them out of there. They started shooting from all directions. And old Wall thought he was going to get killed.
Am I gonna get killed? I didn't think it was gonna get killed until just now. What the brown is this about?
Now here she come walking, looking like a zoo. Hi Ella Garoo. She know all the...
This is the most normal sounding thing I've heard the whole time, and like honestly, it's just kind of making me a little emotional. And this is still just a far off cry from a normie song.
Now here she come walking, looking like a zoo. Hi Ella Garoo. She know all the colors that nature do. Hi Ella Garoo. Hi yellow, hi red, hi blue, she flew. Hi Ella-garoo. She do what she mean and she do what she do. Got something for me, got something for you.
The laughs all happen
Show
right
something.
here. That happened to the right ear as well. Okay. I don't know if I like this song. It has some moments.
Right. Just dig it.
That's
Okay.
right, the mascara snake. Fast and bulbous. Tight also.
Hey, Fast and Bulbous. May you be recognized by your fellow Rooskies. Fast and Bulbous. I now see you, my friend. I now see you. Man. This is a... It's the closest thing to a song I could like so far. It's decent. Ella-garoo. Okay, and this one is hair pie hair pie? Okay. You know what? This music, I think, bothers some people. Kind of like me having this string cheese and doing this. Bothers people. You know, it reminds me of a lot of things that show up in elements of music that I have kind of been exploring, or, you know, music that I really, really, really enjoy, but just it's like, you know, the music I listen to is like cut with a little bit of Captain Beefheart, right? But it's not just like mainlining it, right? Like this is like you know, weed is a gateway drug to this, but then eventually you're like shooting up the brown. You know what I mean? And I think Captain Beefheart is the equivalent of shooting up the brown. I love the brown when it comes to terms of music, but this is just, I mean, it is avant-garde if I have ever heard it. And like this, right? Like this has elements of like what I've heard in clowncore, and not that I like am a particularly massive fan of it, but I definitely recognize the genius within it because I know how difficult it is to play, and I think that there's a big argument as to whether or not, like, where does somebody separate polytonality from not being able to play? This was clearly rehearsed, but you can rehearse being a bad musician, right? Like the Residents, they are rehearsed. Are they always the most musical? It's arguable. And I think it's because there is this element of like, people think music should sound a certain way, and they put their expectation on what it should maybe sound like. And I'm wrestling with this because I really am not a fan massively of what I'm hearing, but I can hear smart in it. I can hear what I would say is like big brain level people putting the music together. It is tough when you're playing with other people to be this far. It is a mental challenge, right? Like this is the equivalent of all of them playing really difficult pieces and singing at the same time because they're playing with all of this other stuff. So yeah, I can definitely see that like there is a rehearsed element to this, but then I think you get into the ideas like is it genius because it is all polytonal and polychromatic, I guess, polytonal and polyrhythmic maybe, or is it the makings of bad music that we were all like conned into? Like, what if this was a joke on everybody's behalf to say like this was actually genius and it really wasn't? And the big joke is that we all, like a big group of people said they really liked it. I don't know. I'm not saying that's the case one way or another. I'm saying genius is sometimes subjective to perspective. And plenty of people think Helen Keller was actually just the teacher speaking through Helen Keller. You know, I don't know. I'm not saying I believe one way or the other. I'm not saying I think Helen Keller is the equivalent of Santa Claus for adults. That's not what I'm saying at all. But I'm saying it's all debatable. Like we know Helen Keller existed.
He's talking about Cheese and Keller Williams. I've played you songs from that album and you didn't like it.
Yeah, okay. No, I'm saying there's plenty of people that question whether or not Helen Keller was really the person that she said she was, or if this was all the teacher acting on behalf of Helen Keller, right? That's all I'm saying. I'm not commenting one way or another. Don't jump to conclusions. I'm saying it's not all debatable. I'm saying genius in music like this is debatable. You've never heard that? Look it up, dude. See, there's moments where it syncopates, and you have these cool kind of moments where it's like dun dun dun, and you're like, wow, cool jazz concert, and then it's like there's moments where I'm like, yes, it happened. It's tension and release in a weird way. it goes against your grain there a little bit. It's definitely I didn't know if it makes my brain itchy in a kind of a different way, you know, because it's almost interesting that it does feel like part of what he does creates almost a binaural beat, right? Like playing these two conflicting things in either side of the ear, just barely. It's not quite full beat binaural, right? But it like has some sort of a reminiscence of that. It's just so like, what does a concert like this look like? What do people do? It's a dance album to you.
Where did you move here from?
Just from here.
Reseda?
Here.
She's nice. What do you think?
Sounds good.
It's a Bush recording. We're out recording the Bush. The name of the composition is Neon Meat Dream of an Octafish. No, it's Hair Pie.
What do you guys make of the little moments there of conversation and is there something to get the little tiddly bits, you know, the little thingy dings? Do we it's the oh, okay, there it is. It's the anthropological field recording. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay. Walter should listen to a song like "I'm Glad" immediately after this for contrast. I gotta run an ad anyway. So we're gonna just let the Bush kind of go. Are you laughing because I said the word Bush?
I was thinking about the shirt, the white shirt from, was that today?
I don't know.
The
About the I almost wore yeah. All right, guys, I'm gonna run an ad and I'm gonna come back and we're gonna do this thing. Honestly, we're gonna make it through. So, guys, I'll see you in a bit. Okay. Well, let's get back to it. I guess. Moonlight on Vermont. This is nice. Yes.
Moonlight on Vermont affected everybody, even Mrs. Wooden Wellers, little Nitty, even Lifeboy floating with his little pistol showing and his little pistol toting.
You gonna syncopate?
Well, that goes to show you what a moon can do.
It's just got cool parts that just... This song ends side A. Cool. It's just got parts that I'm like, yeah. No. And that's how I feel about it. That's how I've felt about this so far.
The normal bridge from Tuesday to Friday. Everybody's gone.
This part's dope.
High society. lost his head and got off on alligators. Somebody's leaving peanuts on the cabins for a white elephant escaped from zoo with love.
Okay.
Goes to show what a moon can do. Moonlight on Vermont.
This song is actually kind of lit. I'm kind of annoyed that I kind of like this song. But it's like, it's got cool parts, but it's got like really like, this is the least frustrating. And it's got a good enough, catchy enough guitar part with a cool enough tone that's interesting enough to me where I'm like, okay, maybe.
Well, it did it for life, boy, and it did it to you, and it did it to Zoo. Well, it can do it for me, it can do it for you.
His aggression, do it for me, you. Like he's just got this growl on that "do it for me" part, especially.
Did it for life, boy, and it did it to you, and it did it to Zoo. Well, it can do it for me, it can do it for you. Moonlight on Vermont. Give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. Don't give me no affliction. That old-time religion is good enough for me.
Captain Beefheart's voice, this Van Valet guy's voice is nuts.
For you.
Yo, Colin, thank you for the gifted sub.
Well, come out to Showdom.
Dude, you bam, thank you.
Showdom. Come out to 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 Showdom. Get that old time religion. Give me that old time religion. Give me that old time religion. It's good enough for me. Without your new affliction, don't need your new restriction. Give me that old time religion. It's good enough for me. Moonlight on Vermont.
Moonlight on Vermont. It's certainly got like just a raspy, like it definitely sounds like the man smoked his lungs like a ham, which is funny because I don't know that I've ever seen Frank Zappa without a cigarette, but he had one of the most buttery voices ever. Tell him, Ruth. You know what I mean? Like, he just had that. Like, there is very few people that have such a smooth, buttery voice like that. Howard Stern is admittedly one of them. I don't care what you think about him. He's got a similar Zappa-style voice.
A squid eating dough in a polyethylene bag is fast and bulbous. Got me?
Fast and bulbous. My friend. May we all recognize you. Got me? A squid eating dough in a polyethylene bag is fast and bulbous. Got me? A squid eating dough in a polyethylene bag is fast and bulbous. Got me? Poo poo ta na na might be better, but this is dope too. And this is side 2. What an opener to side 2. A squid eating dough in a polyethylene bag is fast and bulbous. Got me? Zappa says that. Absolute banger. Let's go. Pachuco, Cadaver.
A squid eating dough in a polyethylene bag is fast and bulbous. Got me?
Got me? So this is why, this is the whole point of the album right here. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to open up Paint real quick. This is why the album is hitting for people. Where's my little brush? Can I draw? Okay, yeah, cool. Dope, mega awesome. Let's just say this is super obscure, right? But you've got a drum, and you've got a guitar, and it's definitely a kind of Captain Beefheart guitar. Let's make sure it's got a little F hole in there. But here's the thing: so you've got that, and then you've got the bass. You've got the bass, and basically what ends up happening is your drums. You might have some crazy time signature, right? And then you might have something nuts happening over here with the guitar. And then the bass might be doing something kind of nutso over here too, right? Actually, you know what? No, bass, just locked and loaded, right? These guys are not going to syncopate except once every, 77 X amount of beats, right? Some things will, like these guys are going to syncopate before these guys will, right? Like, these will syncopate after these did. But eventually, things are going to syncopate. And when they do, people's brains who are wired for sound are like, oh, because it's cool. And we're like, yes. But until then, and for the weak-hearted who cannot just go on an adventure until we get to, 11 times 77 is, that's 77. 77 times 4, let's go ahead, and that's, 28, so put down the 8, carry the 2, 28, 300. So once every 308 beats, in my example here, it will syncopate all in unison, and then, orgasms happen, right? But the grind to get through those 308 beats is like, it's not for the faint of heart, dude. And this album seems to just be quintessentially that. It is just designed. Maybe I'm wrong. Tell me if you disagree with me, okay? But this is kind of how I'm seeing this right now. Because I'm having these micro orgasm moments where things minimally syncopate. When everything comes into play, I'm like, oh. But then it's like eventually it gets back to the grind of getting back up there. Is this what it is? Is this what I'm listening for? Is this why people say this is genius?
When she wears her bolero, then she begins to dance. All the Pachucos start with holding hands. When she drives her Chevy, sissies don't dare to glance. Yellow jackets and red devils buzzing around her hair.
She definitely drives a Chevy with a Mopar cam. If you know, you know.
Have hold. She wears her past like a present. Takes her fancy in the pants. A sedan skims along the floorboard. Her two pipes humming carbon cob. Got her wheel out of a B-29 bomber. Brody knob amber, Spanish fringe and talcum tassels, forever amber. She looks like an old squaw Indian. She 99, she won't go down. Avocado green, alfalfa yellow, adorn her to the ground. tattoos and tarnished utensils, a snow-white bag full of tunes, drives a cartoon around. Broma sells a blue umbrella, keeps her up off the ground. Round red sombreros wrap her high-tap horse's shoes.
This is a challenge, but you get rewards sometimes. Sometimes there's good moments. But there's like it's like you it's like eating crab legs, you know? Like there's a lot of reward, there's a lot of work for like really little reward, but you spend a lot of money for that little reward, you know?
She unfolds her umbrella. Pachuco's got the blues. Her lovin' make me so happy. If I smile, I crack my chin. Her eyes are so peaceful. Thinks it's heaven she been. Her skin is as smooth as the daisies in the center where the sun shines in. Smiles as sweet as honey. Her teeth as clean as the combs where the bees go in. When she walks, flowers surround her. Let their nectar come into the air around her. Her love sticks out like stars. Her loving stick out like stars.
I don't know what to make. Those ending lyrics, love that. Her love sticks out like stars. There is an abstract absurdism that they just openly embrace, and I feel like it's really kind of backed up and reinforced by the musical context. But I feel like there's some elements of this that it's like it's high art. It wants to be high art, but it's doing so in the most grueling way possible. You know, like I think it wants to be considered high art. I think, or pretentiously even, it like, because I think high art is kind of a dickish phrase, right? But it feels like this kind of wants to be high art, but maybe it's like being a I don't know, a caricature of it. Even maybe it's being like maybe it's like a a modest proposal, but of music. I don't know. Guys? What's up, Lolenko? Kinda awesome. And the drums. It's like this part kind of gives you like a little bit of a Grateful Dead jam vibe, right? Like dun 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 dun, and I kind of like that. But then you end up just getting raw dogged right after it, because we just come from this. This is really how I feel. We waited that whole song to get the magical, like, beat 308, right? Like, after everything finally syncopated, we got this, right? And at the very end of that song, there is a sweet release, like a sweet eureka release, where we are finally just gifted a few friggin' moments of like honey mustard. Even it's not even it's just, like we're not just like grinding the stones of stone ground mustard. We're getting a little bit of honey mustard here, still mustard, but sweeten it up a bit. I think it's high art. If this is high art, I think this has just my Microsoft Paint picture has just as much an argument to be high art. It was just significantly easier for me to do. Hey, yo, Skylight, love you, good night. Thank you again. I really disagree with what I just said there. I think I'm saying it because it's a funny thing to say and not necessarily because I actually think it, because I do think I'm not equipped to be able to play in a band like this, and I wouldn't be able to do it. I don't think it's like revolutionizing music, but I think it absolutely gives a rock and roll concept to tension and release, maybe, as best I can tell. This is like the earliest rock and roll version of it, as far as I know. It's definitely art, but there is but it's sound. It's a different kind of art. I don't know. But it's snobbish and dickish of me to say it's not art either, just because I don't like it, or don't like all of it, right? It's like we can't say it's not art. It's just not art that is agreeable to everybody. There is plenty of art that is intentionally designed to go against the grain of people. And this is without question doing that. And I feel like it's sure a hard listen and maybe it rewards repeated listens, but then it's also kind of one of those things where it's like, I think I saw somebody say earlier, like, I could just listen to music that I really like immediately. And maybe there is something to be said about, like, the person that got this as a Christmas present. They didn't know what music they were getting. They just got a record that looked like it was cool, right? And they listened to that, and that's like the record that they have, and they just keep listening to it, and they fall in love with it because of the amount of repeat listens, where they've invested themselves in this chaotic friggin' mess of a world of music. And to me, there's a little bit of an element that's actually kind of cool. Like, I could see that being the case and ending up in a scenario where you just ended up liking it by proxy. People ask me why I like Nickelback. It's because my Uncle John got me a Nickelback CD, and it was the first secular music CD other than Now 6 that I had. So the first non-Christian music that I ever really got to listen to as a kid was Nickelback. And so yes, I like Nickelback, and I don't care what people say about it. But I don't know that I feel like I don't know. I feel like there is Nickelback for me is probably somebody's Captain Beefheart. And I think that a lot of people would rather listen to this than Nickelback.
Quietly the rain played down our last of ashes. Quietly the light played down on her lashes. She smiled and twisted, she smiled and twisted, hideously looking back at what once was beautiful.
He's definitely got like a voice
Playing
actor's
naturally,
voice.
magically. Oh, her ragged hair was shining, red, white, and blue. All in all, the children screaming, why,
Fresca's out, guys.
surely, madam, you must be dreaming. You couldn't have done this if you knew what you were doing. Well, the goldfish in the bowl lay upside down, floating. Full in the sky, and the plains were bleached with white skeletons. Various species grouped together according to their past beliefs. only way they ever all got together was not in love but shameful grief. It's not the way I'd like it.
He's got this storyteller's approach sometimes. I mean, honestly, I feel like the man who's vocalizing is very much just as much using his voice as an instrument as he is a narrative, as you know, as he is a singer, so to speak. And I you've heard me say in a lot of my videos and a lot of my reactions that there is an element of the voice as an instrument that has always fascinated me. And I in this guy's case, it does kind of toe that line of like, you have a voice actor's voice doing music. He's got like, again, the sound of something like that smoked his lungs like a ham for 30 years. But it also feels like he's got other ranges. He's got this kind of silliness to him. He has this really seriousness to him. And the music has thus far kind of been very thematic in that it takes you kind of in a scene-to-scene scenario. Like very similar to what you would hear me talk about in like a prog rock thing, but it's different. The scenes are a lot more chaotic and, bombastic. And there's moments within the scenes that have these like these relieving moments where you're like, oh, thank God we got out of that. No, what is this? And you know, I once described jam set like fish jams, or like mustardy moments of fish, like watching a train wreck where you know no one dies and everyone's gonna be okay, and you just get to watch a train wreck and businesses get paid their insurance money. And this is kind of similar enough like that, but it's just like the train wreck just doesn't stop, right? Like it just keeps compounding and becoming a gnarlier and gnarlier and gnarlier train wreck. And you're just like, how much more train wreck can I watch? Like, I don't care that businesses are getting paid and everybody's okay, but like how much like is like what? That's kind of how I feel like at this point. You get a little concerned for the train. But it's also like I'm sitting here wrestling with whether or not I think it's genius or not. Because just because in my brain, it's like just because they're playing on rhythm, right? Like just because they're doing a thing where you have an instrument doing a crazy time signature with another one doing a crazy time signature and another one doing maybe a regular, maybe a crazy time signature. And, you know, we're all waiting for that beloved, magical, syncopated beat right over here, right? We just want that to happen. And so maybe there is an element of genius in that that's just as genius as the most beautiful, arpeggiated, and ridiculously syncopated guitar solo you've ever heard. I don't know. Who's to determine what the greater genius is, like rhythm or tonality? And who's to say that they necessarily have to be? I don't know. This has got me kind of wrestling with this.
To get together.
No matter what the answer is, though, it's completely arbitrary. And I think that that's maybe another... Huh.
The kind of thoughts I'd like to keep. The rain played lightly down on the former heap. Oh, lady, look up in time. Oh, lady, look out of love. And you should have us all. Oh, you should have us fall.
Huh. Yes.
Sweet, 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 sweet bulbs grow in my latest garden. Wow, 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 wow. Some fingers wave in my latest garden.
It is incredible how hard some of the moments of this album hit when you're just so thankful to have a normal sounding moment that it's such a relief. It really does have such an up and down emotional roller coaster to this, because right after, like coming out of Bill's corpse, right, and into this, right,
us all. Oh, you should have us fall.
Like, and then you get this, which is nice.
Sweet, 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 sweet bulbs grow in my latest garden.
bass is unreal.
Sun fingers wave in my latest garden. Flowers dance, their faces brave. Come talk freely in the garden of my lady. The harmony smile, the harmony snatch. Only a crow would peck and a chicken would scratch. Her lips turned up to kiss. I see you, Phoebe, baby, in your bonnet. With a sunset written on it.
Giving me a boner.
In the shadow of a tree, curled around your knee in color.
It's like hearing this bass guitar is like seeing I don't know another way to put it. It's like a tree with leaves on it in the middle of a dead forest or something. I don't know. This bass is nice. I studied to be an avant-garde composer for a couple of years. A little Nanko, that's actually super dope, man. I'm literally just a dork who listens and taught myself a bunch of instruments. I have very good, very none musical theory, really, outside of just like what I've learned. But I will say, I have learned more about music theory since I have done the music commentary content, and I have sharpened up my skills at most of my instruments just by doing this, like, and having conversations and, you know, hearing different things, like really branching out. Percussion, I have probably the least background in, but I've got to say, I really do think that the MVP of this album thus far has got to be the drummer, if not for the vocalist, because the drummer's in the middle of doing this, keeping time the whole time. Somebody said earlier in the chat, like, if you get lost, just go back to the drummer, and I think that that's actually been a tremendous rule for this album.
Seed of negativity, takes me like mercury in the wind. Her feet kept by the ground.
Have a good night, Rebby.
Her toes bare brown. The carriage she'd abandoned like a hand-me-down. She walked back into nature, a queen uncrowned. She had just recognized herself to be an heir to the throne. Her garden gate swings lightly without weight, open to most anyone that needs a little freedom, for God's sake. Oh, come, as many as you can.
The bluesy guitar vibe is so nice.
You're free to grow as flowers. Share her
I'm so digging this.
And use her toothbrush and spend some interesting hours.
I think that might have been the song so far of the album for me. Sweet, Sweet Bulbs. It was enough, blues mustard to where it, I could handle it without feeling like there was an immediate aversion to just like the WTF am I hearing? Maybe it is just because I've been raw dogged by a whole bunch of WTF songs right now that, like, at this point I'm kind of getting numb to the raw dogging, you know? But there is certainly an element where this one had potentially the least amount of just in your face polyrhythmic polytonality friggin' rub. It's interesting because as I'm hearing this, it occurs to me that, like, the Residents almost certainly ended up hearing this and decided to take it into a more electronic context. It's pretty interesting. Just seeing this clearly did impact a lot of music.
Music tentacles test in sleeve, in join, in jointed jade pointed diamondback patterns.
Is that Frank?
Neon meat dream of a octafish. Artifact on rose petals, in flesh petals in pots. Fact in feast, in Tubes, tubs, bulbs, ingest, incest, ingest, injust, infeast, incest, inspects, inspeckled, speckled, speckled, speculation.
I'll bet you Rick and Morty was inspired by this. And I know that's, I feel like even just some of the lyricism, like the way he delivers it is, it almost makes me feel like a lot of the voices in the TV show Rick and Morty are kind of like rip-offs of a Captain Beefheart record, and just their mannerism or something, like the way they carry themselves. There's something there.
Tubes, tubs, bulbs, ingest, incest, ingest, injust, infeast, incest, inspects, inspeckled, speckled, speckled, speculation, bedlocks, waddling feast, archaic faces frenzy, ceramic fists, artificial decease, insists, rancid buds burst, dank drum and dung dust, meat rose in hairs, meaty, meat rose in hairs, meaty, dream, wet, meat, limp, damp rose, peeled in felt, fields in belts, impaled on in daemon, mucus mules, plot, trot, tra-la, 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 whalebone, fields,
Poo-poo ta-na-na. Feel like it was necessary after that.
mucus mules, plot, trot, tra-la, 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 whalebone, fields in belts, whalebone farmhouse, cavorts girdled in ladders alight, cavorts girdled in ladders alight, adipped amidst, squirming serum in semen in syrup in semen in serum, stirrup in syrup,
syrup sandwiches.
neon meat dream of a octafish.
I feel like he said of a octafish, not of an octafish. I would like to call. Let's just run that back.
Neon meat dream of a octafish.
We need to have this corrected. This is a travesty. I imagine the people who hate this feel the way I feel about King Gizzard. Oh, man. You feel that way about Giz? You know, there was, you know, hang on. This is, you know how sometimes you say something and hang on. This is exactly what just happened in my chat. This right here is what just happened. Lol Nanko came in saying like, I don't like the Giz. I love that guy. The balls. Love it. Absolutely fantastic. And honestly, fair, you know, to each their own. Yeah, like to each their own. I dunked really hard on the song The Girl Is Mine by Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney. I got no qualms about it. Dying on that hill. Fair enough, dude. Don't sweat it. Lol Nanko and I knew one another from the gaming days. I definitely find myself wrestling a lot with how I feel about avant-garde stuff, because sometimes I don't like the idea that I have to go through such hard effort, but then other times I kind of like the reward that the effort gives me. It's like not always for me, right? Like, but there is absolutely an element of avant-garde in so many of the things I really, really love, right? Like, look at the Grateful Dead, right? Phil Lesh, like that dude, avant-garde composer, ends up being a bass player, ends up taking those inspirations and makes his own crazy thing happen. And there are a lot of things like that. But I don't know. There are parts of this that I find fascinatingly genius. There are parts of this that I find rub me raw. And in that raw rubbing, I'm still like, I want to come back and listen to this and just like kind of close eye and see how I feel. Like, because I do feel like this is the kind of album that does reward a repeat listen. That was certainly true for Duck Stab by The Residents, so I can't imagine this is going to be that much different. Like, I don't know, though. I like this better than Duck Stab for sure. If The Girl Is Mine was on this album, how would I rank it among these songs? Bottom. Bro.
A man's gotta live. A man's gotta eat. A man's gotta have shoes to walk out on the street. I don't wanna kill my China pig. Oh, he want a baby. I want you to be. I don't want to kill my China pig.
Is that a pig I'm hearing?
Well, I used to go to school, the Little Red Box, and I used to have my pig go with me. We walked for blocks.
This jazzy stuff is nice. I mean, bluesy stuff. You've got this like really, really raw sound, right? It almost sounds like you're putting a microphone up to an electric guitar that isn't amplified up. But you can hear the amplifier, just a really soft amplifier, but you hear Captain Beefheart, I guess, Van Valet, singing and grunting in a room distant from the microphone. So you're really hearing the room, and it adds very much this layer of like clothes brushing up against each other. And there's without question this tasty element of authenticity to the blues kind of sound. And like right now, it's not blown my dick off with mustard yet. But I'm kind of like bracing myself for it. Like I'm afraid to get hit by the music.
I used to have my pig go with me. We walked for blocks. I don't want to kill my China pig. His tail curls 5 times in a circle round. It's glazed.
This guitar is so tasty.
He's got a sloppy back. Flowers grow. My child pig need quite a show. I don't want to kill my child pig. Oh no.
Oh, man. Listen to that. That banshee friggin' noise. What on earth did I just listen to him do? Like, that sound came out of that man's face. Dude, I mean, what's up, Moon Spice? Welcome to the Brewskis.
I put down my fork and I poked it. 3 hairs lead out on my floor. I remember my China pig.
They killed the pig.
I fed the neighborhood.
They had a barbecue with the pig.
A lot of people like my pig. One little girl used to put her fingers in his stomach. I put a fork in his back. I didn't want to kill my China pig.
F's in the chat for the China pig. Ugh. Whoa! 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 That was rewarding! What did they do? Speed the tape up? That was a nice little. I love when people leave in authentic moments of music in the album, right? Like the tiddlywink dinking around at the end of a song, like the da-da-da-da-da. A guy plays at the end of a song because he's like, okay, the song's done. Now I'm just gonna make a noise, and song's done. And you just, quick strike muted strings. There's just something I like about it because it makes it feel like musicians, right? Like that's just what we do. And so to have that, even in the tape thing, it adds that same kind of dynamic, but for the producer, the editor, there's a real cool, real nice thing about that. And for an album that has really towed the line between like kind of over the top studio production and raw, authentic sound. I mean, what was it? The anthropological record, like field recording. Sure, I can totally. Okay, I get it. You don't want me to steal. Okay, I get it. You don't want me to steal. Okay, so I can't just do a big scroll. This is absolutely. China Pig kind of took a turn. I'm not gonna lie though. I started to care about the China Pig. All right, we've got My Human Gets Me Blues, and we're gonna listen to that right after this ad break. Smoke 'em if you got 'em. Go make your peas and poops if you gotta. I will be right back. All right, bingo bango. Let's do this thing. Hopping back in with My Human Gets Me Blues. Here we go. I do like the blues takes so far. Those have been my favorite. Okay.
I saw you, baby, dancing in your X-ray gingham dress. I knew you were under duress. I knew you under your dress.
Okay.
Just keep coming, Jesus, you're the best dressed. You look dandy in the sky, but you don't scare me.
Okay.
Cause I got you here in my eye. In this lifetime, you got my human gets me blues.
Like there's magical
With your jaw
moments.
hanging slack and your hair's curling like an old Navy fork sticking in the sunset. The way you were dancing, I knew you'd never.
Like an old Navy fork sticking in the sunset. Like he's got just an interestingly goofy voice.
With your jaw hanging slack and your hair's curling like an old Navy fork
No
sticking
idea.
in the sunset. The way you were dancing, I knew you'd never come back. You were straighter to keep your old black crack patent shoes. In this lifetime, you got my human gets me blues.
MVP the drummer here.
Well, the way you been, old lady, I could see the fear in your windows. Under your furry crawling brow, a silver bow rings up in inches. You were afraid you'd be the devil's red wife. Red wife. But it's all right, God dug your dance and would have you young and in his harem. Dress you the way he wants, 'cause he never had a doll.
It occurred to me, babe, that I've been like mimicking his voice, saying random stuff, and you've just kind of been walking around, and I've been like Captain Beefhearting. My bad.
'Cause everybody made him a boy, and God didn't think to ask his preference.
Huh?
You can bring your dress in your favorite dog, in your husband's cane, in your old spotted hog.
Shout out to China Pig. Never forget.
'Cause in this lifetime, you got my human gets me blues.
Oh, yes. Does anybody have any information on how they toured this album, or did they tour this album? I'm super interested. Was it like what Frank did, where he traveled with a whole bunch of people? Like, how many people, what was it, 5 members of this band? And were they playing it in order? What was it like? Were they just going up there and, like, doing this nonsense? Okay, it's not nonsense. I shouldn't say that. It's tremendously more than that. But were they doing this in a live context? The not guitar harmonies thing is super nice. that was definitely one of, I think, my favorite things I've heard this whole night. And I think a lot of it was just when I imagined myself playing it with another person. There was a moment there where I just kind of felt like, this is madness, right? But it also kind of jived in there, and it felt like they both intentionally created dissonance for the other person, but they also kind of did it in a melodic round in some ways, right? Like, they were very much... Like, you've heard me use the phrase guitarmony before, when you have guitars that are harmonizing. This was like that, but like the first they're sour, then they're sweet version of that. Yeah, I'd say counterpoint is fair enough, but I don't know. I don't know, and I don't know the phrase I'm looking for it. This is side 3. So we have made it to Hair Pie. What a name. Hair Pie Bake 3, side 3. Here we go. What a daunting prospect that just was. From me. It's like when it was gonna syncopate, he didn't let it. Ugh! My balls are blue. Ask you guys this. Brian Wilson was very notably a guy that would hear a sound and would obsess in the studio over how to recreate the sound he was hearing in his brain. Do you think that same kind of fervor, like or obsession with the craft went into this? I guess I ask just because it does seem like there is a part of me wonders if it's like because it's difficult to play this. It's like very, very much by design. The musicians weren't even allowed to leave. I guess I like. Is this Van Valle's way of recreating the sounds in his brain similar to what I am to imagine Brian Wilson did with the Beach Boys? It's just a question of artistry, right? Like everybody is different and everybody's approach is different, and you know, it feels like there is like there's certainly intention here, you know, but perhaps a bit of that intention is to leave us with this feeling. And you know, maybe I don't need to Rosetta Stone it either, but like there is an element of me that like that's how my brain works. Feels like it's more than just that, Google. You know, like, I think what Black Dog is like 5'4" over 4'4", right? And it's not at all the rub that is. You know, dun-dun-dun. Dun-dun-dun, 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 dun-dun-dun. There. I could be wrong, but again, it's just one of those things where like that was tremendously more. And I no, you know better. That I did do Cashmere, not Black Dog. But you know what I'm thinking. You know what I'm thinking. I'm just, my brain feels violated right now, guys. Admittedly, I'm really wrestling with this. I was about to say Cashmere. Yes, I said Cashmere. You're right, guys. I'm a fraud. I don't know any Led Zeppelin.
Fast and Bulbous.
Fast and Bulbous.
Fast and Bulbous, I recognize you.
Okay, do it again.
I love those words.
Fast and Bulbous.
That's right, the mascara snake. Fast and bulbous.
Bulbous also tapered.
Yeah, but you've got to wait until I say.
Also, a tin teardrop.
Oh, Christ.
Again, beginning.
Fast and Bulbous.
That's right, the mascara snake. Fast and bulbous. Also, a tin teardrop.
Bulbous also tapered.
That's right.
I like that they leave that in there.
Pena, her little head clinking like a barrel of red velvet balls, full pass noise. Treats fill her eyes, turning them yellow like enamel-coated tacks. Soft like butter, hard not to pour. Out enjoying the sun while sitting on a turned-on waffle iron. Smoke billowing up from between her legs made me vomit beautifully and crush a chandelier, falling my stomach.
Smoke billowing up from between her legs made me vomit beautifully. Clip that. Wow. Poetry.
You heard from 1,000 happy facets. Liquid red salt ran over crystals. I later band-aided the area side. Oh well, it was worth it. Pena pleased but sore from sitting, chose to stub her toe and view the white bulbs horribly large in their red pockets. I'm tired of playing baby, she exclaimed, and out of a blue felt box let escape one yellow butterfly the same size. Its droppings were tiny green phosphorus worms that moved in tuck and rolls and clacks and whispered in their confinement. Three little birds scotch taped windows several yards away, mouths open to tongues that vibrated and lost saliva. Pena exclaimed, "That's raspberries!"
That's the raspberries? This is wild even for today. I don't know that today has ever had anything on this. Ever. I don't think that today's standards, ever since this came out, have ever touched this. Whenever today's standards were. At any point of today's standards since then, there's really been nothing else in my whole entire life that I have heard. And this was done in 1969. The closest thing that I could think of would be the album Duck Stab by The Residents. But this is so much gnarlier I would say more organic than that. I'm gonna say the word organic because it feels right. And by that I just mean more maybe rawer instrumentation. It didn't feel like it was I feel like this is more vocally stuff. Honestly, you know who I think I'm finally Mr. Bungle actually makes tremendously more sense to me. I think Mike Patton a little bit in what he does, his craft is certainly of this same ilk. You know, I'm seeing those connections, and those are things that I've really enjoyed. Like, those have been musical journeys that I have really found a lot of fulfillment in, even if some of them came with some ups and downs, you know. But you know, I guess that's the raspberries. I I've heard a lot of people say that. I've described my interest in sounds like this before as a morbid fascination, and it still feels apropos to say so. There is a morbid fascination to this. But it feels also kind of wrong to say the word morbid. But it's like, it's interesting, because I know it's like kind of tough to hear. But there's a part of me that's like, I made it.
Floats down
Like
the river on a red raft of blood. Night blocks out the heaven like a big black shiny bug. It's hard, soft, shell shining, white in one spot well. It's hard place that I'm living, but I'm doing well, well. The white ice horse melted like a spot of silver well. Its mane went last, then disappeared the tail. My life ran through my veins, whistling hollow well. I froze in solid motion, well, well. I heard the ocean swarming body, well, well. I heard the beetle clicking well. I sensed the thickest silent scream. Then I began to dream. Okay. My mind cracked like custard, ran red until it sealed.
How does it crack like
turned to wooden and rolled like a wheel, well, well. Thick black felled birds are flying with capes of solid chrome, with feathers of solid chrome, in beaks of solid bone.
It almost feels like it would be tremendously difficult for him to memorize the lyrical content of his own works. Did he have to travel with his own, like, I feel like they would have had to kind of approach it from like an orchestraic perspective where they had the well, maybe not if they rehearsed it that long. I don't know what I think about this Van Valet guy.
Bleached the air around them, white and cold, well, well, till it showed in pain. The hollow cane clicked like ever after. Its shadow vanished, shining silence, well, well.
That makes sense. Yeah, no, that tracks. All right, when Big Joan sets up. Big Joan.
Hoy, hoy!
Yeah, just to reiterate the Mike Patton and the Mr. Bungle comment here, that's 100% fact. This is absolutely, like, especially what I heard Mike Patton do with some of his, like with the John Zorn, with Zorn, where he sounds like an adult Johnny from Wild Thornberries.
Big John comes out, her arms are too small, her head's like a ball. She's tied off her horse and galloped off into the moonbeams.
She got a big head and little arms.
Pull up her blouse and compare the navel to the moon. I dig my life for a while.
When Big Joan sets up, her hands are too small.
So cool.
When Big Joan sets up, her hands are too small. She's too fat to go out in the daylight, so she rolls around all night. I just saw the friend with a droop body. I'll set up with you, Big Joan.
Big Joan.
I'm too fat to go out in the daylight. I'll stay up all night. I won't droop if you won't talk about your hands being too small. You know something's happening or you wouldn't have come out like you did. She ain't built for going naked, so she can't wear any new clothes.
Okay.
Or go to the beach. They laugh at her body, cause her hands are too small. When Big Joan sets up, her hands are too small.
So she doesn't go to the beach because they laugh at her body because her hands are too small, and when she sits up, her hands are too small. And I feel like, yeah, he's like, they were, okay.
She's out of reach. A turquoise scarf and silver rolled up over a Merc Montclair.
That's the like tastiest say Sura ever. Hey,
I'll set up
night
with you,
past
Big Joan.
Bulbous.
I'm too fat to go out in the daytime. I'll stay up all night. You promise not to talk about your hands being too small. Hoy, hoy! Is you, boy?
Definitely silliness. ask a question to those of you that were in the know when this initial LP came out. Did it come out in stereo or was it a mono release? And the reason I'm asking is because I don't know if the stereo work I'm happening is a result of them recording in a room and actually like putting some TLC into it. Like, the other thing is, were they rehearsing this live and were they all playing this as a band? Was there layers in the tape? When this album came out, mono was dead, so it was released in stereo. So it does sound like there was definitely some TLC that was done in the stereo soundscaping of this, because there's just a lot of different noises left to right ear that really give you the feeling like this was some chaos happening in the room. You know, I will give it to Captain Beefheart. At no point has this band phoned it in and done a board fade. God love them.
Now we won't have to worry about Rocket Morton with any of those girls.
Okay.
Rocket Morton takes off again into the wind.
What do you run on, Rocket Morton? Say beans.
I run on beans. I run on laser beams.
Laser beans.
When I get lonesome, the wind begin to moan. When I trip, Fallin Ditch, somebody wanna throw the dirt right down. When I feel like dying.
Did any of the other instrumentalists in this band go on to do stuff, or did they all just quit music after this because they hated it? What did any of them go on, other than Van Valet, go on to do stuff?
The sun come out, stole my fear and gone. Who's afraid of the spirit with the blues for bones? Who's afraid of the Fallin Ditch? Fallin Ditch ain't gonna get my bones.
If I get creative freedom, I'm doing this. Just honestly.
How's that full of spirit? How's that full of things? It ain't my fault the thing's gone wrong. When I'm smiling, my face wrinkles up real warm. When I'm frowning, things just turn to stone. Fallin Ditch ain't gonna get my bones. When I get lonesome, the wind begin to moan. Fallin Ditch ain't gonna get my bones.
The drums, man. Absolutely, in my opinion, drums have, between the drums and they're all really mind-blowing because they're all playing while the others are playing their parts, right? Like, which means it's really difficult to play because to play this stuff while the other people are playing their stuff, it gets in the way. So it's all impressive. I just, in my brain, I am most impressed by the vocalist and the drummer. Hey, Patsy, have a great night.
In sugar, in spikes, in neon lights, in walks, in lights and chains.
No, I think you're onto something there, Psyched. This album is the sound of chutzpah, if I've ever heard it.
Carving smoke, hooping hope, God in the sky rush by. Fall back and dark, fall back and dark. I steam stale, shoes move, blooming pale. Hello, dime store sale. Sugar and spikes, everything nice, everything nice and crazy. That's what little worlds are, lady, oh lady. I'm paid up, little home in my new Friday's house. There's no H on my faucet, there's no bed for my mouse. I punch and grow mine was in Diamondback time. Now it's king for a day with my lady, you look fine. Up hat, my caramel mask, trippy low car, got my spidel wrist around my honey.
This is
going to see the navy blue vicar. Oh, Peter, and Mrs. Ray Booker.
I see why people were saying, as I was digging more into John, into Mike Patton's work, I see why people were saying that. Ah, crap. I didn't want to go all the way down that far. Let me see. Where is it? Where is it? I haven't gotten a side 4 yet. I am on Ant-Man. I just finished Sugar and Spike, so Ant-Man B. Here we go.
Ants running, black ants crawling, yellow ants screaming, brown ants longing. All those people longing to be free.
I like this.
Ant-Man B. Hoodoo. Ant-Man B. All the ants in God's garden, they can't get along. Walls still running on. Sad one lump of sugar that they won't leave each other alone.
You really muddied it up there, huh?
Why do you have to do this? You got to let us free. Why do you have to do this? You got to set us free. Why do you have to do this? You got to set us free. Why do you have to do this? You got to set us free. Ant-Man B. Ant-Man B.
This ain't bad.
Now the bee takes his honey and he sets the flower free. But in God's garden only,
Man and the ants, they won't set each other be.
God, that really true. No, they don't do what you expect. same time. And they're going in different ears. Also mine. Bill's corpse, I think, was up there. This song has definitely been one of the easier ones. Gizhenge, out of curiosity, when you listened to them, when were like the periods like how long were they spaced out? Like, because 4 times of this album right now seems like a lot of times of this album. I'm considering 2, this one and potentially another one, and we'll see where I go from there. But like, did you pick anything up differently? Like, do you think, in your opinion, as a person who's come back now 4 times, right? Has it actually rewarded itself with a repeated listen to you? And those of you that have heard this album before, same question. I'm interested because it does seem like it's the kind of thing that you might find something more of. But to the point that he made earlier, it's a lot of work to find music that I don't know. I don't know if I like crab legs that much, I guess. I love that. That's exactly what I'm talking about. They kept in just a little nice little bit there. Okay, guys, we are now walking into side 4 of the album. So I'd say I don't even have to scroll anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 songs to go. Strangely enough, out of 28, I believe, this feels like a big ol' kind of relief. It's kind of been a journey, though. It's like I can't say that I have not enjoyed all of it. There's definitely been an enjoyable process to this, but I absolutely, at other times, have felt like I've gotten kind of screwed with the red hot poker of sound. And I guess with consent in this context, because I'm doing it to myself, right? Like I can hear anyways.
A thick cloud caught a piper cub's tail, a match struck blue on a railroad rail.
Okay.
The old puff horse was just pulling through, and a man wore a peg leg forever.
So you just didn't have
I'm on the bum where the hobos run. There breaks with filthy chatter. Oh, I don't care, there's no place there. I don't think it matters.
Is this like a shanty? Is it like an old shanty?
My skin's blazing through and my clothes in tatters. And the railroad looked like a Y up the hill of ladders. One shoe fell on the gravel, one stick poked down. Gray of age fell down on a pair of ears. An eagle shined through my whole watch pocket. A gingham girl, baby girl, passed me by in tears. A jackrabbit raised his folded ears. A beautiful sagebrush.
I'm hearing this like noise, like this little, almost like it's maybe a tape cut or something. I don't know what it is I'm hearing though. Tell me after each of the stanzas.
Rabbit. And an oriole sang like an orange. His breast full of worms, and his tail clawed the evening like a hammer. His wings took the air like a bomber, and my rain can caught me a cup of water. When I got into town, odd jobs, ma'am, your horse all fodder. I'm the roundhouse man, I once was your father. A little up the road, a wooden candy-striped barber pole, and above it read a sign, Painless Parker. Licorice twisted around under a fly, and a youngster cocked her eye.
You can hear him listening back in the headphones. Like, listen to that. You can hear the echo of it.
And a youngster cocked her eye. God before me, if I'm not crazy, is my daughter. Come, little one, with your little dimpled fingers. Give me one, and I'll buy you a cherry phosphate. Take you down to the foaming brine and water, and show you the wooden tits on the goddess with the pole out, full sail, that tempted away your peg-legged father. I was shanghaied by a high-hat beaver mustache man.
What does it mean to be shanghaied by a hi-hat beaver mustache man?
And his pirate friend.
And his pirate friend?
Vomiting beer in a banana bin. In a soft lass with brown skin. Bore me 7 babies with snapping black eyes and beautiful ebony skin. And here it is, I'm with you, my daughter, 30 years. Away can make a seaman's eyes around house.
To be shanghaied is to be tricked into labor?
Man's eyes flow.
Didn't mean to pause that. Dang it.
Water, salt water.
Man, that really just punches you in the face right after that. That was a journey, dude. Orange Claw Hammer. Okay. I don't know.
Wild life, along with my life. I'm going up on the mountain for the rest of my life. Before they take my life, before they take my wild life, before they take my wife.
Oh, man.
We got my mother and father. It ran down all my kin. Folks, I know I'm next. Wild life, along with my wife. I'm going up on the mountain for the rest of my life.
It's very thematic. It does feel like he's painting a picture of sound of them running up to the mountains.
They take my wild life, for they take my wife. For they take my wife. Wild life. Wild life. going up on the mountain along with my wife. Find me a cave and talk them bears into taking me in.
Do you think anybody has a favorite song that's on this album?
Wild life, along with my wife. Wild life, it's a man's best friend. Wild life, along with my wife. I'm going up on the mountain for the rest of my life. For they take my life, for they take my wild life.
I'm not asking as a place of judgment. I'm actually wondering which the favorite song would be.
Wild life. Wild life. Wild life. Wild life. Wild life. Wild life. I'm going up on the mountain, find me a cave and talk to bears to take me in.
I can't decide if I think that Van Vliet is actually like tremendously amazing at the horns or if he's using them in an abstract and not really knowing how to play them. But then there are moments where I think that this is genius and like, you know, wow.
Wild life. Wild life.
Is a top 5 track of the 60s for me, but that's on Safe as Milk. I'm definitely going to listen to another. Safe as Milk is what they said I should have listened to. I was told that this was going to be like, well, what it's been so far, I guess. Now I understand it, but I do want to give Captain Beefheart a chance besides just this. Guys, got to run an ad, then we're going to come back and we're going to finish this thing down together. Be right back. Guys, let us close this wild ride down. Here we go.
Here you would have a famous version of She's Too Much for My Mirror. Note the clever slate. She's too much for my or anybody's mirror, number 2. Told you.
She's too much for my mirror. She almost makes me lose it. The way she abuse it
make me never want to use it.
I'm in your heart and mind, your soul. Oh, Chicago, she's a woman that make her young man a bum.
I actually really like this one.
I'm in your heart,
not ironically.
And your soul. Oh, Chicago, she's a woman that make her young man a bum.
She howl like the wind, make my heart grow cold. Make me long for that little red farm.
She make things fly, she make things roll. She got me way over here and I'm hungry and cold.
This is dope.
I remember my mother told me I ought to be choosy. That was way back when. I thought you was my friend.
Now I find out she's a floozy.
I remember the butterflies and the sweet smell of corn in the bubbling fish in that little pond. Oh, Lucy,
how long for you? How long for you?
She's too much for my mirror.
Loaded up Van Morrison.
That little floozy, oh, how I feel her. Oh, Lucy.
Shit, I don't know how I'm gonna get that in there.
I gotta tell you, he made it happen. He got it in there. That was really cool. You had honestly, the beginning part of that song really probably stood out to me the highest. Like right after the conversational
Note
pieces.
the clever slate.
She's
too much for my or anybody's mirror, number 2. Told you.
And then the way his voice comes in over the top of this and into Old Chicago, like I really ended up enjoying that one. Hobo Chang Ba is the next one. Beef zone now.
Starwood claw landing my jaw. I can't call it music, it's just something suited. Feather time to feather, morning time to thaw. Hobo Chang Ba, Hobo Chang Ba. Standing still is losing, feather time to feather, morning time to thaw. Sawwood claw, rattling my jaw. Hobo Chang Ba, Hobo Chang Ba, Hobo Chang Ba, oh. Hobo Chang Ba, oh. Stand against my ground, lay to rest the law. The ocean is my mother, Britain is my paw. Hobo Chang Ba, Hobo Chang Ba, oh. Hobo Chang Ba.
You know, I don't know if any of you have ever gone out of your way to listen to like Jack Kerouac's poetry reading music and stuff. Some of the work throughout this album has been reminiscent of when I listened to Jack Kerouac's like jazz poetry readings, right? Like it does have a bit of a beatnik flow to some of the stuff, even his little kind of like ad-libby moments, like his moments of like Captain Beefheart scatting, I guess. It seems kind of rooted and as I'm listening to this, it really does give me kind of like, again, that just beatnik sort of thing. Like I don't know another way to put, like, beatnik jazz, I guess. It's got that like but like distorted and angsty and humorous.
The rails I ride are rusted, the new sunrise I'm trusting. The rails I ride are rusted, the new sunrise I'm trusting. Starwood claw, rattling my jaw. Hobo Chang Ba, Hobo Chang Ba, Hobo.
Wow.
You ready?
Nothing I have heard here has particularly changed my life. Like, I'm going to be real with you. Nothing I have heard today has particularly changed my life. I've heard cool parts. I have heard things that I was like, oh, wow, right? And I'm probably going to come back to listen to this very album, if only for the WTF factor and, like, why am I coming back to it? Some of it I'm catching right off the bat. Other parts, I'm wondering, I'm sure I'm going to have some sense of reward for listening without having to pause for commentary because YouTube has rules, right? But I also think it's kind of just okay to say, like, not everything is for me, and this is kind of one of those things I just don't think is necessarily for me. I feel like I could probably get into a lot of jazz a little bit easier than I could get into this. Not all avant-garde is created equal, and this is certainly the most avant-garde thing I've ever heard. Without question. This is the most avant-garde thing I have ever listened to. And part of me feels pretty accomplished in saying that. Because I've been on one hell of a musical journey. I really have. I've gotten years of musical reactions and journaling and commentary in at this point. And if this is what jumping into the deepest end looks like, or one of the deeper ends looks like, cool. You know, I don't know that I want to go too much deeper than this. Easier to get through than The Residents. No. But different to get into than The Residents, because this album had immediately recognizable moments of genius to me, and it wasn't just like, what am I listening to? The full spectrum of honesty. I have returned to the song Constantinople a great many times by The Residents, okay? But I never got like a really excitable like blues vibe from it. Like there's been genius in every single instrument throughout this album. But do I like all of the geniuses happening at the same time and the way that they have in this album? I don't know. I don't know that I can say that right now. And you know, this is an initial reaction channel. It's not like let me tell you it, like, you know, I can't say I'm jumping right into this for a repeat listen immediately, but I do think maybe when I do the repeat listen, I'll share my thoughts on it. Or when I've done repeat listens, I'll return with a retrospective on my thoughts on Trout Mask. I don't know. I feel good about listening to it though. This is 100% the intention of this channel is to discover music and things I wouldn't normally listen to, even if it's challenging. What if the challenge ends up paying off, right? Like, you never know. I could have walked away from this feeling like my life changed. I didn't so far, right? But you don't know unless you jump into the deep end sometimes, and sometimes you get completely raw dogged by the most mustardy thing you've ever seen or heard.
You ready?
Mousetrap Replica.
Okay, go.
Master, this is recorded through a fly here, and you have to have a fly eye to see it. It's the thing that's gonna make Captain Beefheart and his magic band fat. Frank, it's the big hit. It's the Blimp, Frank, it's the Blimp.
It's the
When I
Blimp.
see you floating down the gutter, I'll give you a bottle of wine. Put me on the white hook, back in the fat rack, shadracky shat. The something hoop, the Blimp, the crazy hoops, Their tail, tits, the Blimp, the mothership. The brothers head under their hood. From the Blimp, children, stop your nursing, unless you're rendering funds. The mothership's the one. The Blimp. The tape's a trip, it's a trailer tail. It's traipsing along behind the Blimp. The nose has a crimp. The nose is for the Blimp. It blows the air. The snoot isn't bare. Look up in the sky, there's a dirigible there. The crazy hopes were. You can see them just as they were. All the people stare. And the girls.
It certainly feels like the TV show Rick and Morty was very specifically inspired by this album. I can't not hear it. I think that it is probably an album that is inspired and interwoven itself into media in ways I didn't even realize.
Trembles and run and wave their hands over the Blimp. Daughter, don't you dare. Oh, Mama, who cares? It's the Blimp.
It's the Blimp.
Hello? Sure did. It's beautiful. I think that we have enough on tape to just use that as is for the album. Okay, I'm gonna listen to it back now. I gotta go back to work.
Okay. I do like that they keep those conversational moments without, you know, within the album, without kind of making them seem as invasive. Like, it really does just add a level of authenticity and character to it that I've kind of found myself enjoying here. I certainly never heard of this album before I started doing this thing and had people asking me to listen to it. So I can't say I could even begin to venture to guess. Less than 1% of the world has heard this album for sure.
The black paper between a mirror breaks my heart. The moon frayed through dark velvet lightly apart. Steal softly through sunshine. Steal softly through snow.
The guitar parts on the left and right ear are very, very good.
The wild goose flies from winter, breaks my heart that I can't go. Energy flies through a field, and the sun softly melts a nothing wheel. Steal softly through sunshine, steal softly through snow. The black paper between a mirror breaks my heart that I can't go. Swan, their feathers don't grow their spine. They live 200 years of love, they're one. Breaks my heart to see them cross the sun.
Honestly, it kind of sounds like maybe the Mars Volta took some inspiration from this.
Breaks my heart to see them cross the sun. Grows rainbows up Straw Hill. Breaks my heart to see the highway cross the hill.
I like the ending.
Man lived 1,000,000 years and still he kills.
I really like the lyrical
between a mirror.
like take it to the very end.
That I can't go.
Man has lived 1,000,000 years.
Steal softly
and
through
still
sunshine.
kills.
Steal softly through snow.
I liked that. Again, very relevant. Man has lived 1,000,000 years and still he kills. That's good stuff. Old fart at play. Oh my gosh, we're almost done.
Happy was the khaki sweatband, bowed goat pot-bellied barnyard that only he noticed. The old fart was smart. The old gold cloth Madonna. Dancing to the fiddle and saw, he ran down behind the knoll and slipped on his wooden fish head. The mouth worked and snapped all the bees back to the bungalow. Mama was flattening lard with her red enameled rolling pin when the fish head broke the window, rubber eye erect and precisely detailed. Air holes from which breath should come is now closely fit, with a chatter of the old fart inside. An assortment of observations took place. Mama licked her lips like a cat, pecked the ground like a rooster, pivoted like a duck, her stockings down caught dust and dough balls, she cracked her mouth, glazed, caught one eyelash, rubbed her hands on her gorgeous gingham, her hands grasped sticky metal, intricate latchwork, opened to the room. Smell cold mixed with bologna, rubber bands, crumpled wax paper bonnets, fat goose legs, and special jellies, ignited by the warmth of the room.
The drum, it's kind of got a nice little jazzy swing to it.
Open to the room. Smell cold mixed with bologna, rubber bands, crumpled wax paper bonnets, fat goose legs, and special jellies, ignited by the warmth of the room. The old fart. Smell this through his important breather holes. Cleverly he dialed from within. From the outside we observed that the nose of the wooden mask where the holes had just been a moment ago, was now smooth, amazingly blended, camouflaged in with the very intricate rainbow trout replica. The old fart inside was now breathing freely from his perfume bottle atomizer air bulb invention.
His excited eyes from within the dark interior glazed, watered in appreciation of his thoughtful preparation.
Oh, man, that's so heavy.
It almost feels like a part of this album was kind of just be a bunch of silly dudes and like give that portrayal, like the portrayal of a whole bunch of like kind of serious sounding. Like any musician that hears this knows that these musicians are serious musicians. You can't just play this stuff if you're not a serious musician. I can accept that, right? But it's like, it almost feels like using your powers for evil. In a way, I guess. But then it's like, I can't even say that because it certainly inspired many, many, many things. It get creatively inspired a lot of the like plenty of things. I like that I'm sure I'm aware of and not aware of. I guess it's one of those things that I feel like it almost has to be just because it is. You know, you need some kind of counterpoint to think. You know, this is the equal and opposite reaction, is I guess what I'm saying, of music. You know, there is clearly dedication to the craft, but it's just kind of, yeah, I don't know. I cannot say that I have ever heard anything like this. It sounds like these people, even though I don't think it was really the case, sounds like these people were like really good kind of friends, kind of silly people, kind of joking around, but also again very serious musicians. But it just seems like there's kind of a lot of darkness surrounding the album and its creation. It seems like, I don't know, there is certainly a lot of commentary. It's absolutely seemingly satire, seemingly absurdist, seemingly jazz, definitely avant-garde. It's so many different things in and of itself. And I feel like to try to comment on it, you know, as a first-time listener is just a exercise in futility. You know, there's so many things I'm not going to pick up on the first listen or the second or probably even the third. You know, there's so many things happening in either ear at any given time. There's so many things happening with the lyricism and the inner working between any of the you know, instrumentation amongst themselves. But then you also have when it all syncopates. I'm really left wrestling with how I feel about this as to whether or not I think that this was genius or practiced chaos that is led to make us think it's genius because it was so rehearsed. You know, and again, like I don't know. It's like, this is really hard to do. But anybody, I don't know where I wrestle with this. Do you think that this is a work of genius or a whole bunch of regular musicians practicing stuff that just sounds hard that they grew to be able to do? I'm very like, I don't know. I feel like there's certainly something here. I don't know if it's as genius as people are alleging, but there's certainly something here.
I cry
day poppy. It don't get me high, it can only make me cry. It can never grow another son like the one who warmed me. My days after rain and warm my breath, my life's blood streaming empty. She cries.
Had some normal
It don't get
moments
me
for a
high.
moment.
It can only make me cry. You're a veteran day poppy.
I love this part. Great comment, Sibley. Best part of the album. The drums in the back. Transition. This is nice. The bass coming in. Fish-headed reel. Veterans Day Poppy was my favorite song. Was done. That was a journey. That I think I just need a break from music after that one for a night. That was one of the gnarliest. It was by far the most avant-garde thing I've ever heard. Never heard anything like it. I can't even say I've heard anything that kind of sounds like it. I've heard moments within some songs from some artists that are occasionally like this. But I've never heard something that was just that in your face with what the F, such as this. But I did it. And it's like that in and of itself feels pretty awesome. And I do think, again, the best way I can explain this whole album is by my little diagram here, where you have instruments that are in varying different time signatures, and eventually they all syncopate together to hit this magical number beat, which could be just any number of, 1 times this times that, whatever, right? Like, however it works out. But that's kind of why I think this hits so hard. And I think that the more you listen to it, the more you find, or your brain kind of connects micro moments of these things, whether it's like the 4 hitting up with an 11, or the 4 hitting up with the 7, or the 7 hitting up with 11 for the 3rd time, right? It definitely feels kind of like that's what the appeal is, if I had to guess. That this to me is the definition of fast and bulbous, right here. This is what that is to me. Anyways, guys, I feel like we've done a good thing here. Guys, feels good to say this, but I love you. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for the positivity that you show both to me and to one another. Thank you for venturing boldly into music with me, because sometimes it's a challenge and sometimes it pays off and sometimes it doesn't, but always it's fun when I'm with you guys, and I very, very, very much appreciate that. You guys are a gift to my life, and I'm very, very thankful for you. Guys, I love you. Goodbye.